magic stuff that you're doing.
I am magic.
This ninja right
I am
here.
super magic, even though I have lost my magic hair. I've lost my magic without my extensions. I'm sad. They'll be back. The magic will return in a few days when they get colored and put back in my head.
Beautiful long locks.
Don't cuss. Don't cuss. You know I love you, right?
You need to breathe. And just hold it.
I don't want to breathe. I don't want to breathe.
You have to hold in the energy. Hold in the emotion.
I'm gonna explode. I don't know how to breathe. What do you think this is, a Zen practice? What do you think, I'm a Tantric Practitioner that can breathe?
Yes.
You're like, yes, I know you are.
You are. Bringing us to the topic of today, which
Basically
is not necessarily breathing,
Mm-mm.
but it is holding and leaning.
Yeah. Things that I think are really... That's not the kind of leaning. That's not where we're leaning. That's called breaking my boundaries.
Oops.
Not the type of leaning we're talking about.
Was that the kind of holding?
No. Definitely not. Definitely not. Again, consent, please.
Oh.
No, we're being goofballs, but that is actually our topic today, is holding and leaning, and not those kind of, not that kind of leaning or that kind of holding, really leaning into kind of the things going on in your inner world right now. Because I think with all the COVID stuff, and I just see lots of people going through this beautiful, but some challenging transitions and transformations, which are gorgeous and beautiful and needed. There is this lacking of holding, of energy and emotions and space, even for self and other.
I think there's a lot of people holding anger. There's a lot of people expressing anger. There's definitely, I've noticed on just social media how angry the world is, looking for a fight, you know, to the point that somebody can say something that doesn't pertain to any of the issues that are at hand in our world, and you'll get attacked for it. You can get attacked so easily right now. And it's so, I didn't actually think that it could get much worse, because it was at that point already where everybody was just on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that for years. I had a woman one time at a restaurant go just crazy on me. I'm sitting there with my kids getting breakfast tacos, and I'm just talking to the kids, and I look over through the window.
Oh, I remember that. You told me
out the window past this woman who I didn't really, you know how you're just like glancing out a window, and there could be somebody there, but you're not looking at them, you're just looking past them. And I was thinking about things, and I was just kind of like watching cars go by and thinking about something, and she stands up and like just starts throwing stuff and gets so livid and mad, and just like, what are you looking at? Da, 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 and starts cussing and just going off on me, and her guy's like, calm down, and she's like, no, da, 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 and she just went into this, you know, this rant. And I remember looking at her going, I guess she's mad at me, but what did I do? I didn't even see her. Like, I was not there, but that is because we are so on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we're even more on the defense now than what we have been in the past, just with everything at hand the way it is. So some people are choosing to hold that anger until it explodes. Or implodes.
Yeah, eating them up inside.
It eats them up. I mean, I've
with
heard
disease
about,
and
there's so many accidents going on, and deaths, you know, and suicides, and disease, you know, coming up, and just like I hear about, and it's not COVID disease, it's cancer, it's heart attacks, it's stroke, you know, it's anxiety all around, depression rates increasing, all this kind of stuff. That's an implosion of holding negative charged energy. And then you have the explosion where we have the physical violence. That's why sexual abuse and domestic violence and child abuse is all skyrocketing right now, is because there's a lot of explosion. So that's that release, because people have been holding, and they're doing it in a very unhealthy fashion because they don't know how to actually deal with it. That's not the holding that we're talking
because
about.
they don't know how to hold their real true emotions.
Right.
It's that they can't actually hold the emotions and lean into them, that we're seeing this implosion or explosion. Because if you really were holding your emotions, you'd be able to be like, whew, wow, that's some anger right there. Like, what's going on? A month or two ago, I had a ton of anger, and I actually ended up with some stomach issues going on for like a week or two, like some really bad stomach like issues, like ulcer type stuff. And I was like, what is going on? And it was anger. It was some anger, and I was able to go, wow, that's anger right there. What is going on right now? What am I angry about? Why am I struggling to process it? You know, and really looking at a journal and holding that anger instead of exploding or letting the implosion, because it had already gotten into physical, but letting the implosion happen.
Right. And
with
either
the
direction
physical.
you look at it, if your vessel, this being right here, whether it is your emotional, mental, or physical being, if it is not strong enough of a container because you haven't practiced holding and leaning into emotion, then you cause the explosion or the implosion to happen, because every cup will run over if you put too much in it.
Yeah.
And that's what we are doing right now, is that we're just putting so much in our cups in a negative sense that we're weakening our vessels, because we have not been trained, we have not been taught how to hold that energy like you're talking about. Of just being able to witness it and to to treat it almost as though, one of the exercises I have people do all the time is to treat their emotion as though it's another person, to have a conversation with it in that tense, so that you can actually do the investigative work around that. And that helps to strengthen and helps you to start to witness it a little bit differently. But then you have the emotion of what? There's the emotion of love, the emotion of fear, the emotion of desire. Yeah, desire. That's a fun, dangerous word.
Yeah, but that's a hard one to hold. People don't hold desire very well.
Yeah.
We either jump into it and attack, or we push and we run and we try to create drama to separate from our desire, or shut down. Shut down.
Oh, I felt desire. I'm walking away from this situation. I'm dumping this person. I'm not talking to this person. I'm whatever. I'm going to drink. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Whatever it is, it's that shutdown mechanism around desire, instead of, because that is it's a very scary space. Passion, desire. You know, we have the words of craving and hunger. You know, all come up, and we have that longing. And what that does is that it has the same combustible rate as anger does, as rage.
Oh, it does.
It's exactly the same. Which is where I just had somebody yesterday talk to me and tell me, because they're dealing with all these emotions, and they were sharing with me, they're like, I'm scared to feel this, and I'm scared to feel it in your presence because I don't want it to hurt you. And so I shared that with me, I don't want it to hurt you. And I was like, what do you mean? And then they shared about it because they had this event happen, where it reacted in them and they lost control. And even though there was nothing horribly bad that occurred, but it was just that they were out of control. And that's what happens I think with any emotion, whether we perceive it as good or bad. Emotion is emotion. It's energy. It just is. And a healthy person goes through all emotional scales. And it's like, we should be all over the place. We should be experiencing hope. We should be experiencing sadness. We should be experiencing bliss.
Desire, hunger,
desire, right? All of these things.
Fear, even.
Yeah, fear, anxiety, all of that. All of it's normal. It's when we get lodged in one, and we set up shop there. We build a little fortress.
Yeah, let's build my fort right here in fear and anger and depression.
Let's just move in. Yeah. Let's buy and move into this place right here, and let's just settle in. And that's where that danger comes in, because even in a state of love, which we're told, everything is love. Access your truth, which is love. I even preach your truth is love. Right? It's love, love, love. Lean into the love. Be love, be love. But if we actually set up shop just in love, there's this proverb. I think it's a Chinese maybe it's a Zen proverb that talks about that the purest of ponds has no fish. Mm-hmm. So that means is that if we were in complete pureness of love all the time, there would actually be no growth. Yeah. We would not feel fulfilled. We would no longer feel love, because it would cease to exist, because we would just be set up shop there. We have to have the others so that we can actually embrace the good stuff too.
Yeah. Well, and if you never had a bad day, then you would never be able to truly appreciate and feel the bliss of a good day.
Right.
We need the swing. And I think also some of it is also holding our own energy too. I think there is, like you said, and I don't have any clue what you're talking about with this one client, meaning like the situation, but I would think like, I'm scared to share this with you. That's like, well, let me hold my own energy. If you're just scared of your energy kind of impacting me, well, that's my job to hold my energy. It's your job to hold your energy in a loving and healthy way, not hold it until we combust, but hold that energy and be like, this is where I'm at, and lean into it. Lean into that those energies. I just did a thing. I just did a thing.
That thing.
I did Aphrodite Circle the other night, and we were talking about our bodies and disease and just unhappiness with our bodies. And what came up is this idea of hunger, and I actually started down the tantric path because I was in eating disorders, and I saw this, you brought up desire, and like that just kind of triggered this thought of people weren't able to hold their physical hunger in that space, and I saw that in our world, in our sex, and even the desire, the hunger for sex, and all these beautiful things can eat away at us if we clamp them completely down and we don't let any of it out. We never lean into it at all. We don't ever jump and allow ourselves any of that. We don't speak it. We don't write it out. But the exact opposite, if we just go, oh, I'm going to go and jump into every desire willy-nilly, then what ends up happening, we never build that container of going, I can sit here in desire and I don't have to have it now.
Right.
I can sit here in my emotion and not need it fixed now.
You don't have the acceptance for the moment if you are constantly moving to the next, to the next, to the next. The next shiny object prevents us from accepting the present moment.
Yeah. So. And again, it's not setting up shop. It's going, I earlier was listening to a song, and music is very powerful to me and will dance me in and out of emotions. It is definitely one of my very feminine characteristics with music. And I listened to the song and I just started crying, and it wasn't like I'm sad and this is what I like just let the tears flow, and I was like, this song is bringing up sadness right now. Like, this is interesting. And I let it, and then like the next song came on and I'm dancing. But yeah, just letting that natural flow and not going, oh, okay, now I just cried. Now that means that I'm sad. Now what is, like, and digging into it. Just going like, whew.
I had sex the other day.
You had sex? How dare you have sex?
Me and another consensual adult
had intimacies.
Had intimacies.
Physical intimacies.
Physical intimacies the other day. Wow. Said me never.
Yeah, no. It's not what we...
All right. But I still tamed it down. I said I had sex. Okay. So I had sex the other day. And I had all of this just yumminess moving through me, which is what we want, right? In sex, we want the yumminess. We want the orgasm. We want the climax is typically what we're going for. We're going for all of that. A lot of times we want connection. That's why we call it intimacy, because it's an intimate moment. We are actually wanting to be seen. We're wanting to see. We're wanting to experience each other and just kind of lose our trapping.
And love, because it's love making.
Right. And so we're wanting to experience being loved and loving and appreciating and being appreciated. So here I am in what everybody knows, right? Sex. Okay, so we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
Or read my article from today. No.
So I think most people can picture sex in their mind. They know what that entails.
So the end result after yada 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 was.
Okay.
Yada yada. Hey,
Find details in her daily article.
Yes, details are in today's article. But no, and what ended up happening was with that orgasmic energy that was moving through me, I ended up bawling my eyes out. I was just crying and I was shaking, and it was not pretty in my opinion. You know, it was
the ugly cry.
It was an ugly cry. But it was like, and I felt all of this like tension in my chest and just this holding, but it felt negative holding because I didn't know what to do with it. It seemed like it was too much. It was too much, and I was just like, what the heck do I do with this too muchness of myself? Like, how is it going to be perceived? It brought shame up. It brought fear up. It brought, you know, old things from my past up, from multiple different things were coming up. And my partner, he's just like, oh my God, are you okay? Because, you know, no guy wants to make his girl cry, right?
Not usually a goal.
It's like, it's not normally a goal to make your partner cry during these moments. And I'm like, no, it's a good cry. It's a good cry. It's a good cry. And he's just going, okay, checking in. Like, did I?
He's leaning in.
He's leaning in. He didn't overreact, but he's like trying to hold that space and lean in and listen. And I was just explaining it to him. And you're like, no, it's just emotion. It's just like that hit something inside of me, like your song. It just hit something, and it sent this like charge through, which caused tears, you know, and just this like horrible pain. Actually, it was like not a good pain up in my chest, where I was like, ooh. And at the same time, I'm like going off into,
you're all bubbly, orgasmic, and shaky,
and feeling all, you know, that charge, that high, that drunk state, and everything. But that right there, I think that for a lot of people, you know, and a lot of people don't have those particular moments, but
because they don't let themselves actually drop into it,
into the emotion, into surrender, into all of those scary words, right? So they don't drop into that. But if you can start the practice to get there, is the holding of anything.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, like you brought stuff to me where you were just having different things go, and I almost give you no reaction. And it's not because I don't care. It's not because I am not going, oh my God, what should I do for her in this moment? But the last thing you need is my emotion on top of whatever you're experiencing, and me bombard you and actually take away from your moment.
Yeah, and then I would be holding even more.
Right. So it's like, no, what am I going to do? I'm just going to hold, witness, and listen.
Same.
That's it. Hold,
witness,
yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, is because we try. So a lot of people, like the person you're having sex with, did like
who shall name for the moment.
Lean in and like check, like, okay, all right, like just like do a check. But most people they don't lean in, they jump into somebody else's junk.
Right.
They jump in, they don't, it's not compassion, which is what your partner shares.
We connect at our wombs. So if somebody is, and there's, like, we mirror each other a lot, you'll share something, and if I have to hold my own energy, I have to lean into it and go, because you'll trigger something inside me. So then I have to go, okay, wow, ooh.
The beauty of friends, we trigger them.
Ooh, right, yeah.
Out of each other.
And so I'm just breathing into that. So I'm trying to hold space for you, but there's still stuff accessed inside of me.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning in, because I'm not going, oh, hey, Addison, that's great that you had that happened, or, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. Let me tell you, blah, 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 right? And then you're going, well, thanks for listening. Because now you just made mine nothing. Like that's not leaning in. Leaning in is you can witness your own stuff inside of you rise up, feel it, but that's what you do, is you feel it and you witness it rising up and remain present with where you're at.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad. It's like,
and the same thing within, even if it's within yourself. It's always within yourself, actually. But whether you're in relationship and that is what is triggering or what you're struggling to hold in the emotions, or if it's like you're just with yourself and you're like starting to feel all this stuff, still witnessing it, still, like you said, it was seeing it as if it was another person and being like, "Whew, like I see that anger, like I'm just gonna be here for that. I'm gonna be here for that anger and just breathe into it." And then there are times when you want to really actually lean in and go, "What's the message here?" Mm-hmm. Not just even just get curious, but I mean really lean in. If you are seeing emotions come up again and again and again, you need to lean in. That is yourself, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, saying you need to lean in here. You need to figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I know that we see in workshops, you know, like you bring energy up in a workshop, you bring emotion up in a workshop, right? And then everybody wants to, there's talking that starts to occur, there's laughing, people start,
I gotta pee all of a sudden.
I have to go to the restroom, right? There's like all this stuff. You see the squirming and the different things that happen because nobody can hold emotion. Their containers are so weak that they can't even just sit in a room and hear some stranger's story or share and be able to just go.
They don't hold silence.
Yeah.
And that shows how much we're not able to hold. Because silence, we hear. Mm-hmm. So you might be that person who's like, "No, I hold awesome space. I hear, blah, 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 blah." But the fact is, you're not taking time to hear and to really breathe in and really get quiet within self and also witness others and hold others, then you're not good at that. So I even look at myself as like, I hold pretty good space. Like I am pretty good at holding space. However, I suck at it sometimes.
Well, yeah, you're human.
I'm human and we all like, so, and the same, I mean, I think we all are human and we all have that feeling, but it's looking at where you're not able to hold space and then getting curious about why you're not able to truly hold, or where you're unwilling to lean in, and why is that leaning in process so freaking scary to you? Why is that so scary to lean in and feel and experience the good or the bad?
So how do we train ourselves?
You just freaking do it.
Wow. That's
you do it, but it is just deciding to take times, even if you have to like program them into your phone, and just take time with holding yourself, holding that space for self, and going, I'm first gonna just get present within myself. I'm gonna take 3 times a day, and I'm just gonna take 5 minutes, and I'm just gonna get quiet. Or if it's like, all of a sudden you're in the car and you're getting angry, just be like, whew, like just stopping. Like like I give you all these formulas and all that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to really just doing it and practicing it.
Anything, it's just doing it and practicing it. I mean, that's what I would totally agree with that. Tangibly speaking, I would say that some of the best ways to create that practice of just doing it would be, like, I don't drive with the radio on. I have the car silent. It is my space of silence. Now, I always know that somebody else will take my car, one of my kids or something, and the radio's up and everything, and I'm just like, oh, because it's just too much for me. It's my only space of like, this is my silent moment, whether it is 4 minutes, you're driving from your place to my place, or it's, going to be 30 minutes long or something. Now, granted, if I'm on a crossroad trip, then that's different. But in those small commutes, I make sure that there is a silent moment. I also manage to meditate every morning, 15 minutes a day. This is not a massive amount of time.
I meditate as well.
It's 15 minutes where you get that meditation time in, which is silent. So those are 2 easy enough practices to do. But then I think as you were talking, I'm like, what came to mind is this very, very old lesson that I learned eons ago. Many moons ago.
Many.
Yes. Many moons ago.
Tell us your wisdom. In your ripe old age.
Whoa. Whoa. Except you're pulling the granny card or something. Oh my God. I am a grandmother though. Yeah.
You're not old.
I'm a granny.
I was joking. That was the way you said it. Like you were like 150 years old and
I could be.
You're gonna be that person.
I know you too well. You're gonna be that person 130 years later. That's my goal. So
Good goals.
big goals. No, is to practice that holding, because it is ego based. So to practice the holding is to find something good to do. So let's say you gave $5 or $20 to a homeless person, right? So you give like $20 to the homeless person, or you do, offer up money to a charity or something. There is plenty of times that people do all these great deeds, but they basically reap the rewards right now. I'm not trying to bring it to a biblical belief structure here, but it's the reality, is that we reap our reward right now instead of storing it up in heaven, as the testaments say, right? But what that does is that if we reap it right now by saying, let's say I go and I give, $10,000 to a charity, and I come to you and I go, oh, Addison, there's this fantastic charity and blah, 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 blah. I just gave $10,000 to them and it is so awesome and da, 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 and they're going to be able to do this, 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 this. So what's happening there is that I just get the reward from you. Right, I get a pat because you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that's so great. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, da, 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 like that. So then I get that reward, instantaneous gratification from you, instead of growing my vessel, growing my container, learning how to hold the emotion, because I'm not going to share it with the soul. And important little note here, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to go, that never happened. I'm just putting it away, tossing it to the side. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to think about it, because we can damage our own ability to hold energy if we're patting ourselves on the back in our minds, or if we are shaming ourselves, criticizing ourselves, judging ourselves. All of these self things that we do inside of our heads actually weakens the container to be able to hold the emotion. Plus then we have the external version of it, of looking for something from another. So the pat on the back, the pity, the sympathy, the acceptance, are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? Are you sure? You sure? Like,
yep, sure.
We all know those people that do that, right? But that is that I'm giving you a pat on the back right now. So we're taking that quick gratification versus growing the container and learning how to really, truly hold energy, hold emotion. So that would be, that was, as you were talking, I was, I remember back in the days when I was like doing that practice, and I was doing all these different things and just learning how to hold and not share and not to think about it. Just let it be like washing my hands. After I wash my hands, I don't run around for the next 3 days thinking about, oh man, I washed my hands 3 days ago. That was such an amazing hand washing. Oh my God, I can smell the soap. Oh, it's still.
I would hope that you wash your hands after that. But yes, I get what your point. I get your point.
Run around. It needs to be like that. Yeah. It's just washing our hands. It's not a big deal. It's something that is so consistent that it's not a big deal. We're just washing our hands. So we're detaching from it, and that allows us to expand and grow. Anyways, there.
The granny has spoken. I didn't say the granny, I said wise.
The wise elder has spoken. Whatever.
But I think, yes, take one of the practices, take just even the method, and try to implement it in your day-to-day and the rest of this week, because there is a lot of emotion going on. There's a lot of just different stuff going on, and so holding in all those different ways and leaning in are going to be life-saving for the rest of this year in some cases.
Yes, exactly. Most certainly.
Yes. Well,
do you have anything that you need to share and announce?
We have our Rise groups coming up, but that's in play now.
Local people.
Yeah,
Rise
local
groups, which is actually all about the topic at hand.
Yes, holding energy.
Interestingly enough, it is all about holding energy.
We didn't put in that.
No, we didn't, but that's a good one.
It's holding energy.
Because it is. It's definitely learning about how to practice everything that we are talking about right now.
Yeah.
So you can reach out to either one of us. look in the comments section for the link to Rise for local people. Non-local people, I would say just follow us. I know that neither one of us have a massive amount of like global events.
There's so much online stuff going on right now that I feel like people are over being online right now. So
yeah, I just kind of.
I'm not turned on to it, so I'm not doing anything right this second because that's how I roll. I don't do things because I feel like I need to put this online thing together, and so I'm just doing local right now.
Yeah, keeping to community.
But we both have online courses and programs.
We do have online
that if you want to connect with us
and
more.
global coaching.
Yes, and global coaching because we can do coaching online.
Yes.
So
do that. So
you can reach out to her at
KendallWilliams.com
and me at AddisonBell.net or recovertolife.com.
That's right.
I got a new
I forgot it.
website.
I like that. Beautiful.
All right, guys. We will see you next time for another Free Spirit Talks.